Okay, I think I've fixed some of the audio problems I was having in some of the previous videos. So we'll see if this video makes it any better. I'm going to make some just really easy and fast spaghetti meat sauce here. So hopefully the audio problems won't sound as, or the audio won't sound as echoey and hollow as it was in the previous videos. So let's get started here. The secret to making this sauce taste like it's been simmering in a pot for hours and hours and hours is these two ingredients here. This is just a tomato paste, and that just adds a really concentrated tomato flavor to the sauce. And then this is a beef base. It's kind of a paste. This particular brand is from Magi or Magi. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. But there's also a brand called Better Than Bouillon, and it's just kind of like a little paste, a beef-based paste that comes in this jar here. And that adds a really nice beefy flavor and just really adds that long simmering taste, like it's been simmering for hours and hours and hours in the pot. So let's get started. Okay, here's our ingredients that we're going to use here. We've got about a pound of lean ground beef. And I showed you the tomato paste and the beef base there. We've also got a can of stewed tomatoes and a can of tomato sauce. Okay, we're also going to add about a cup of chopped mushrooms and a cup of chopped onions. And then to season it up with, I've got about 2 teaspoons of dried oregano and about maybe a teaspoon and a half or so of dried basil. And there's some fresh thyme there also, about 2 teaspoons of fresh leaf thyme. It doesn't have to be fresh. I've just got it growing in a pot on the patio, so I'm going to use that, but you can certainly use dried for that also. And I've got 4 cloves of garlic. So the first thing we're going to do here is start browning the ground beef. Okay, the ground beef is starting to heat up here, so let's go ahead and add our onions. And we'll also add our sliced mushrooms. These are just white mushrooms, but you could use any kind of mushroom you've got, or leave them out if you don't like mushrooms. And we'll give that a good stir. These stewed tomatoes are a little bit too big for me, so I like to take them out of the can and give them a good chop to a little more bite-sized type pieces. Okay, and we'll put those in this bowl. This meat is almost done browning. Let's go ahead and add a little bit of salt and pepper to it. Okay, I've chopped up the garlic while the meat was browning. So I'm going to go ahead and drain this and see if I can get any of this fat out of here. And since this is lean ground beef, it'll probably just be maybe just a little spoonful or so, but we'll go ahead and see if we can get rid of it anyway. Okay, I've drained the fat. I started to get a little bit ahead of myself before I drained the fat. What I want to do now is just kind of create a little blank space here in the center, and I cut up the garlic while the meat was browning into finely diced little pieces. We're gonna put the garlic right in here and let it cook about a minute or so, along with a good spoonful of the tomato paste. Maybe add about 2 there. That's probably about 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. And we'll just kind of let that cook down a minute or so. Okay, that's been cooking a couple of minutes here, and you can really start to smell that garlic. So now it's time to put in the rest of the liquid ingredients. So in goes our stewed tomatoes that I chopped up earlier, and the tomato sauce. And I like to rinse this can out a little bit with some water because there's still quite a bit of tomato sauce in there, and I'll rinse the can out enough to just make a quarter of a can of water and pour that in there too. And there's that water. I like to get all that tomato sauce out of there that I can, so in it goes. Next we'll put in that wonderful beef base that I was talking about earlier, and this is probably about maybe a tablespoon, or maybe or not a tablespoon, maybe a teaspoon, maybe a little over a teaspoon. If I can get it off the spoon. There we go. And let's mix all this around a little bit. And next we'll go ahead and season it up with the oregano, thyme, and basil, and stir that around. And it is already starting to smell pretty good in here. Okay, so now I'm just going to cover this and let it simmer together for about 10 minutes on low heat. Okay, this sauce has been simmering here for about 10 minutes or so. I'm going to let it continue to simmer uncovered now because it's a little bit more watery than I'd like it, but just a little bit. So we're going to let it kind of cook down just a little bit more and kind of thicken up just a little, and then it'll be ready. I've got my water boiling for my noodles over here, getting ready to boil. So after those are done, we'll dish it up and see what it looks like. I almost forgot. Need to add about 1.5 teaspoons of sugar into that sauce. It doesn't sweeten it up, but it just takes a little bit of the harshness out of it. Okay, our noodles are done. Let's go ahead and get the sauce on top of it. And what would spaghetti be without Parmesan cheese on the top? So we're going to add some of this shredded Parmesan cheese on top, and we'll be set. Okay, there we go. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you try this, let me know in the comments and tell me how you like it. I think it's really good. Thanks a lot.